All right, 60-year-old beauty.
Oh, wow. 14 points. Spectacular. So, you know, of the three groups, your exposure's perfect. Everything's great. Look at the clouds, the lighting, everything's perfect. You've captured very, very sharp on the British fighter. Your composition's great. Notice there's a lot of room for it to fly into. And impact, you just don't see these guys every day. Beautiful.
Wow.
Daisy drops.
Oh, that's a, oh, God. Wow. Patty, am I allowed to give it a 15 even with that?
Yeah.
14. All right. He's got to get a 15 because it's so original. That's amazing, whoever did that. If you just would have done that, I wouldn't have been yelled at. Look at, this is incredible. Look at the back.
Let's
oh my
talk about
God.
how you could have fixed that, though. You know, let's, if you don't mind.
Cut it off.
Now, think about it, guys. Either, if you couldn't have come down any further, okay, fine. But a little cloning of just that little bit right there, no one would ever have known that it was ever there in the first place.
Right.
You could have just done a little cloning there. That's all. No big deal.
And
Thank you.
what else you could have done is, in Photoshop, there's a new thing, it's called, you can do, it's with, oh my God.
Content aware.
Contact,
Yeah.
contact aware. And in contact aware, if you just pull this down a little bit and you give yourself more canvas down here, it would have cloned this whole thing and you really never would have known. So, but I mean, the creativity here is just beautiful. I mean, that's really, really amazing.
It's riches.
Nice.
Oh,
Oh, wait, what are we?
that's Christine French.
Oh, she put her name on there.
Where are we? I gotta,
Tasty.
yeah, I better email her and
There
say,
you go.
Christine.
All right,
knock it
so it's a 12. It's a 12 because yes, it's a great subject. But if you're going to take a great subject, you got to do them right. I mean, you just can't have a blown out sky behind it that almost blinds you. You don't have much in the way of contrast here. His eye, notice we don't really look up here. I mean, look at his tail. The tail's sharper and it's got more detail almost. I mean, all this poop down here is just too much. So I don't focus on there, and because of that, it's an eagle looking backwards. It just doesn't work.
Sunset at Kite Beach.
Oh, beautiful. Okay, this is a 13. 13 because I think there's been a lot of work done here. First of all, you've got this gorgeous effect in the sun with your f-stop being the way it is. So that's really cool. We love that kind of thing. And look here, even though it's really dark, it's totally black here, but look at that, it takes us around and it brings us right to the sun. The waves, the water bring us right to the sun. Everything goes right to the sun. And yeah, I mean, can you fault it? Sure. I mean, you can get, you don't want contrails in the image. I mean, that could be photoshopped. You got a little dust, I mean, that's little stuff. But, and the fact that it's right in the middle, yeah, maybe some people would ding it. But since everything takes you there and it's so powerful there, I think it works there.
Sunrise dewdrops.
Oh, that's just a 15. Why is it a 15? Because it's so angelic, it's so peaceful, it's so powerful. Almost nothing. There's just enough in focus to let you know what you're seeing. These are all real sharp. I mean, it's just got a lot of impact here, and it really captures the background. Look how beautiful that is, and it's not blown out.
Rocket's red glare.
Stunning.
So I think any image that goes up and everybody says, wow, gets a 15. I mean, now here's a night image, a long exposure image, or longish exposure. So you can see these guys are they're not moving much. But everything's sharp. The tower's sharp, the boat's sharp, You know, the fire, it's just a combination that's a killer. I think Erie,
That's a composite.
it
I was
looks a bit
wondering that.
composited, yes. Is it? But whatever it is, it works.
Yeah, I think it's a composite, but it's really good.
Could. I mean, the sky there is a little different, but that could, yeah.
It's really
Still
fun.
beautiful.
Very fun.
Super pronounced.
Mm-hmm.
It's creative.
Mhm. Pollinator.
Aw. This is a 13. Great subject. I mean, he's awesome. But you've got this and this and this and that. See, I mean, to my eye, those like take us away. I don't care that I don't want that to be so bright. I want to focus on him. I want to land on him. I want to look around him. I don't want to keep getting pulled away.
Now, Jack, if you darken that up, would the flower part of it, don't you think you're going to take away from the beat, or you're going to end up having to just?
No, I think that you can leave the bee the way it is and all this. I mean, again, you know, it depends on the situation. If you're out shooting, you know, if you don't have a diffuser, and if possible, it may not work. You stand in the way of the sun, or somebody stands in the way of the sun. Part of the problem is that you've got full sunlight on here. It makes it hard. You know, when we were shooting at Asbury for people that were there, you know, we used a diffuser on Bob Grubbs's friends. And when you,
On his what?
On his bug friends. You know, he's the bug whisperer. And I don't know, but when I went back and looked at my images, the ones that I had where I didn't use the diffuser, I had a lot of trouble with because it was just too bright. The ones I used the diffuser on were much better. I mean, the lighting was much easier on the eyes. So I think that, you know, it's going to take work, I think, to get all this darker, but it's certainly doable, and your eye would still go right there.
Okay.
Allegheny River Native American Tomahawk.
Dance.
Dance. Sorry. I didn't see the dance.
So this is a 10, and the reason is that this is a nice snapshot of a tourist event where you were at. The kicker is that it's a joke, get it? He's out of focus. If he's moving, you either go one extreme or not. So here, like in the poultry one we had earlier, if you wanted to have fun here, take your camera, and it'd be really hard to do this, but the way you do it is you'd have to have a real long exposure, you'd have to have a neutral density filter if you're really going to get into how to do it, and then have him dance around a bit, and you'd capture motion and color and stuff. That's an entirely different story. Here, you've got him squashed into the frame. He doesn't have any room to move. He's out of focus. He's bright here. So it's a nice shot to enjoy for your album.
Finley Lake Peace.
Mm. Wow, that's a 15. That's just a beautiful impact. It's infrared for people who don't know. Whenever you see trees that are white like that, green that's white, that's done infrared. Maybe it's done with an infrared camera and a really cool processing. But notice here how the dark, I mean, the dark is dark here, but that's okay because it's way hidden. It's kind of hidden away. You're not supposed to see in there. The brights aren't too bright. You know, the sky is just this really nice cloudy gray, very moody. And look at the composition. I mean, look how your eye, you go here, and you go here, and you go here. And you know, you go around there for a second, and you come back. Look where the subject is placed. Just perfect.
Morning Fields.
We're going to give this one a 12. There's a lot going on, and there's not a lot going on. So there's a lot of complexity here. We've got all this grass, then we've got this gorgeous fence, then we got this cool fog, trees, clouds, contrail. So there are many levels here, and you've got a foreground, midground, background. So trying to decrease the energy of this image would help. For example, this image could work in black and white. Get rid of the color to knock down the energy. Maybe focus on the fence and focus on what's going on here. I think this is the interesting part of the image. I really don't think anything else here is that interesting. So, you know, this is a place, go back, shoot it again in different kind of lighting and stuff.
Pretty and pink.
So we talked earlier, I mean I did, you know, about flower groupings because we love flowers so much, but you just have to realize, you know, what is the subject? And the subject, to my eye, is mainly that guy. I mean, this guy maybe, but that guy is the subject. But, you know, in a play, everybody else is kind of doing things. You know, look how bright it all is. Look at sticks here. There's just, I mean, it's like a lot of noise. I think it may be like a symphony. You know, if he's a solo violinist, the orchestra here is kind of playing just a lot of things that don't really help support him. So it gets we're going to give that an 11.
A slightly still. Slightly still?
Pretty.
Slightly.
So this is going to get a 13. You know, waterfalls are beautiful. You've got slopes. You've got a little bit of long exposure here, but look what the maker's done is. You know, we talked earlier about HDR. You know, this is you know, look how everything is reasonably lit. Nothing is too dark. Nothing is too bright. It's just a very nice, soft scene. You know, the sky out here is not blown. You know, there's our subject right there, but the whole scenery here supports it, so it's very pretty.
Racing the surf.
This is a 13. I think the maker was very careful here about what they were doing. You know, this wave is perfect. It really lines up beautifully and helps support the image. You know, the water here, all this is very beautiful. It's telling a tale, a little bit of motion here. And I think that, again, it just could be my eyes. It could be it's just a little bit soft there. And I'd like to see, considering that really is the subject, I'd like to see that face pop just a little bit more and a little sharper.
Fall Farm View.
We're going to give this one a 12. What a great idea. What a beautiful sunflower. A lot of positive components. The barn tells you exactly that you're at a farm. But the problem is you've got to be careful because the main subject is this guy. It's not the barn. So this big white roof here pulls us away. It's a bit light for, I think, this subject, and that's just going to drive me nuts. I would have gotten rid of that because that just pulls you over there. You know, you've got a lot of dead space here with that. This head needs to be a bit brighter. These guys need to be just a little bit brighter so that they don't quite pull you off to the left. So I think some work here would really pop this score up.
My favorite lily.
Okay, another grouping of flowers with this guy, to my eye, being the subject. And as Patty was saying earlier, you know, we're just sliced right there. You know, the flower's not moving, it's not going anywhere. You know, you can take some time and come up and get the whole guy. The other thing you're running into is watch the supporting characters. I mean, does that add or subtract to the image? You know, it's cool. It's a cool element, but it's a very strong element. That pulls you away. When you're going to have all this nice dark here, it's okay to have it, but don't have that. Watch out for that kind of thing. I mean, that just subtracts. Having a diffuser here, just see how white the whites are? They're too white. I mean, I just got done shooting a lily at home just a couple days ago with Ellen, and, you know, you gotta watch out for that, because I did that too. You know, you're just too bright along the edge there, so a diffuser here to help that.
Mirror, mirror
You didn't
on the
score
water.
I didn't score it.
Oh, let's go back.
I gotta stop doing this, I'm sorry.
I think got out of hand.
Other way.
All right.
I know. 12?
Okay, now before you move off, I just want to mention, I know that, what do you call it?
Stroke.
The stroke goes all the way around, and you don't see the stroke on the top.
Well,
Yeah.
let's
So
ask
I
them.
know that for a fact, because that's my.
Okay.
It's on the screen.
But tell me
It-
this,
Pictures.
It is on the screen.
did you
Uh,
Oh, oh,
make,
you're,
did you
oh.
make the,
Oh, I see what
I
you're
see.
saying.
did
I
you
think all the
make the
pictures are that way.
picture, did you make the picture smaller before you put the stroke on?
Jack, yours.
Yeah.
No, but
It's on the
Because
computer
you
pad.
have to.
Oh, it's, Patty, it's on the computer.
She said-
Is it
they
next
said
one?
on the
It's
computer,
still,
not on the-
okay,
It's the
it
projector.
still hits the edge.
Okay, yeah, but I'm just saying though, it doesn't show it
You're
there,
right,
so
thank you.
It could have been on
Thank
there.
you.
It wasn't though.
Thank you.
We try, honey.
I tried.
It still looks better on a
The next one
computer
only
though.
has 3 too, so
Yeah.
I think it's the projector. It's the projector.
We have to adjust, yeah.
Because it's cutting off the bottom.
I'm gonna bring you my thing.
Yeah, and a lot of them that talk, it's like
Yeah,
that one.
Facebook.
Because they're all,
Yeah,
they've
yeah,
all
yeah.
been cut.
Okay. Good on you. No, it's not in the projector, right?
That didn't, I didn't.
We gotta go back one. We haven't done him. Oh, is he soft?
Yeah.
Well done. But it looks stuffed. It's a 12, because they're not. I mean, this is awesome. I mean, no one will argue that's awesome. What's not is, he's soft. If I've got to sit and stare to see, he's got to be tack sharp there. I mean, if you're going to do this, that's got to be tack. And once again, you know, when we're putting, he's dead center. You know, he needs to be, you've got all this over here, it doesn't add, that doesn't add. You know, you need a little bit of room over here, a little less room over here. So some cropping or something and expanding that over there, just to not have them dead center and tack sharp. And grass coming up his back, that's a quick Photoshop fix. So, you know, the idea is for everybody to learn. And, you know, and shooting birds, it takes a lot of work. You know, for some of the, I don't know who did this and how long you've been doing it. I mean, if you're a platinum shooter, then I will shoot you. But if you're, but if you're starting out, you know, those are the things that as a bird, I've done birds for years as well, and you just got to really nail the exposure there. And you got to, hit it with the camera and make sure you're right on it.
Into the world he goes.
I
Aw,
think it's a 14.
so cute.
Just, yeah, I mean, they're just gorgeous. What a great capture, great time of the day. The lighting is beautiful. His hair is just beautiful. A lot of it, and notice he's not dead center. He's off a bit. He's got room to go into the frame. This should be.
The real world. Goodbye.
Mhm.
Waterfront fog.
It's a 12. Great subject, great time of the night, a lot of cool stuff. But I'm a little confused. You know, the waterfront, it doesn't include being on my boat or something that's moving. You know, that just is so strong and just takes away. Look at this gorgeous lighting. Look at everything here. I think you should have jumped in the friggin' water. I mean, you should have hung your, put your feet in between the gates here and just hang out of the boat. Everything is cool about it except some of these issues around. Maybe the image is right here. I mean, maybe that's it. Maybe there's the crop right there, I think.
Yeah, it's gorgeous.
Yes, no. Get rid of, maybe all this stuff is secondary. That works, I don't mind that. Maybe the crop is like that. Maybe it's a vertical with a little bit of room here. Rocks? No? Yes.
Rain-kissed leaf.
It's a 12. Nah, it's an 11. Sorry. Color's weird. It's a weird-looking leaf color. You've got a tip here. You've got this guy is pulling us away. That pulls us away. I have no idea what that is. And the little color there when there's no other color. You know, some of this stuff, background stuff. You know, this is the subject right here. And I think, in my eye, a lot of these guys don't support it. It kind of pulls you away off of it.
Cow.
Thank God it's labeled. I mean, as a city boy, I had no idea. I thought it was a dog. Oh, boy. It's an 11. It's a cute snapshot of a cow. All right. First of all, to my eye, this frame is really intense. I mean, I'm like, I've got to squint because that's just pulling me away. And look how white that is and bright. Look how dull the cow is. You've dulled the cow by making your frame so bright. You know, the cow's the subject. It ought to be lit. He ought to be tack sharp. His ears, if they're moving, that's okay. I'm okay with that. But, you know, he's not tack sharp. And unless you're worried about him attacking, or unless he was like running around the barn, he cried all the time. So, and I'd give him some room too. I mean, you have no room for this poor guy. He's squished inside like he's inside mom's womb.
That's how that cat got stink eye.
Yeah, stink eye cat.
That's a new look at a common thistle.
Great subject, hard time of the day. You know, look how bright this is. You got sun coming on here. You know, as we've been talking, because of that, the background's all bright, right? Because your sun's hitting all your greenery here. And look how it doesn't really frame this. It framed the thistle. It competes. You know, he's out of focus. So and he's just a little bit out of focus, and so is here. So yeah, you've got to worry about not making the background pop, but also these guys, you know, have to play together nicely. And I think this is too big to play out of focus. And here's a lot of where your subject is.
It's a little sharper on the computer.
Is it?
Than it is up there.
Okay, well, I'm sorry, I got to judge it on the screen.
Right.
I'm
Oh, I know.
sorry.
Yeah. All right.
I know that can be a problem.
Score?
Oh yeah, up to 12.
Mother-daughter's love.
So, oh wow. That's a 15. Wow, very, very, very creative. That just jumps at you. Wow. Good. Oh, it's signed.
Wow.
Cool. Thanks. I'd hang that on the wall.
Me too.
No, yes. Yeah. What else are you gonna say? Phenomenal.
Cabbage on mint.
So it's the projector. I mean, he's out of focus on the projector on the.
No, you're not this time.
I think it's a 10. I mean, it's a cool subject. I love this. You know, note the background. See how beautifully out of focus it is. You know, our eyes land right about here, exactly where it's supposed to be,